Our first time in London, and we were beyond ready to take on the city. All those landmarks we'd only seen on TV, in movies, or on magazine covers were about to be right in front of us. In real life. It felt surreal. We'd be standing right there in the heart of the scenes we'd always admired from afar. Our day started with experiencing the iconic tube, the London Underground. The tube is such an efficient system. It's like the veins of the city, pulsing with energy and constantly moving people from one spot to another. Fun fact, it's actually the oldest underground railway network in the world, dating all the way back to 1863. The tube stations have a distinct look and feel, with those classic round tube signs and tiles, and the trains move smoothly and quickly through tunnels that stretch across London like a massive web. For us, we'd already mapped out a route to see as many sights as possible, hopping off at one stop, taking in the landmark, snapping a ton of photos, and hopping back on to go to the next. We've done this in other train-friendly cities like New York, Paris, or Barcelona, so we were expecting the London Underground to be just as efficient, and it was. Our first stop took us straight to Westminster. As soon as we exited the station, there it was, Westminster Bridge, stretching over the River Thames with one of the most iconic city views in the world. We walked over the bridge, and immediately, Big Ben and the London Eye came into full view. The London Eye, this massive Ferris wheel along the river, is a real showstopper. Built in 1999, it was the world's tallest Ferris wheel at the time and quickly became one of London's most popular attractions. It's amazing because each capsule is entirely enclosed and gives you a panoramic view of the entire city. Just imagine the photos! Standing near it, we could see the capsules rotating, each filled with people taking in the unbeatable London skyline. And then, of course, there was Big Ben, or rather, what we could see of it. The clock tower was under some maintenance, so it was covered in scaffolding. It wasn't quite the majestic tower from the movies, but even so, you could feel the historical weight of it, towering above us, stretching along with the entire Parliament building. This place is old world beautiful, with Gothic architecture that's so detailed it almost looks unreal. The stone walls, pointed spires, and grand windows give the building a medieval charm, mixed with a bit of fairy tale, all set right by the river. We were on Westminster Bridge, just soaking in the amazing views all around us. This bridge has such a classic London vibe, stretching over the River Thames and lined with those famous old-fashioned street lamps that make everything feel a bit magical. From here, you get an incredible view of Big Ben and the Parliament building on one side, with their grand Gothic architecture that just takes your breath away. If you ever find yourself here, a couple of tips. Keep your valuables close, as it can be pretty crowded with tourists and locals alike. And don't rush. Westminster Bridge is the perfect spot to slow down, take tons of photos, and just enjoy being right in the middle of such an iconic scene. As we made our way across Westminster Bridge, it was buzzing with life. Our London day tour was just getting started as we continued our walk toward Westminster Abbey. This stunning church is one of the most famous in Britain, steeped in history and known for being the site of countless coronations, royal weddings, and even the resting place of some of Britain's most important figures. Westminster Abbey dates back nearly 1,000 years, and its Gothic architecture is breathtaking. From the outside, you're greeted with towering spires, intricate stonework, and the sheer grandeur that speaks to its historic significance. After taking in the Abbey, we strolled by Downing Street. This street might look like any other, but it's actually home to the Prime Minister's residence at number 10. It's one of the most secure and significant streets in London, essentially the heart of British government. Our walk led us to the mall, a long grand road that gave us the feeling of marching towards something magnificent, and it did not disappoint. This iconic road led us to the big square of the Horse Guards Parade. It was quiet, much less crowded than the other areas, so we had plenty of space to snap photos and just soak in the scene. After capturing plenty of moments there, we returned to the mall, and soon the massive Admiralty Arch came into view. This impressive landmark marks the entrance to the mall and was built in honor of Queen Victoria. Finally, we headed over to Trafalgar Square. This place was bustling. Trafalgar Square is like a meeting point in the city, full of people, street performers, and a lively vibe. At the center stands the famous Nelson's Column, topped by a statue of Admiral Nelson who led Britain to victory in the Battle of Trafalgar. Surrounding the square are beautiful fountains, which add a bit of calm to the otherwise busy scene. And the National Gallery building on one side adds an extra touch of elegance to the square. By this time, we were completely worn out and starving, definitely a sign that we'd covered a lot of ground. Seeing London in person, with its historical buildings, famous sights, and lively streets, is completely different from just seeing it in movies. Experiencing the sights, sounds, and energy firsthand made it all come alive in a way we'll never forget.